Hello everyone, I am Dr. Deepa. Today we will learn about the anatomical snuff box. The anatomical snuff box is nothing but the triangular depression which is seen along the radial side of the wrist. This is the anatomical snuff box which is seen or appreciated very clearly only when the thumb is in the fully extended position. So the depression is more prominently appreciated when the thumb is in the full extension. So this is the anatomical snuff box seen along the lateral border or along the radial side of the wrist. This anatomical snuff box is formed by certain boundaries and it has one important content within it which we are going to look in this video. Regarding the boundaries of the anatomical snuff box, the snuff box has got the medial boundary and it has got the lateral boundary over here. The lateral boundary of the anatomical snuff box is made from the two long tendons, that is the tendons of the extensor compartment of the forearm. Laterally, the snuff box is bounded by two long tendons, that is the tendons of the abductor pollicis longus and the tendon of the extensor pollicis brevis. The abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis, which are the deep extensors of the forearm, make up the lateral boundary of the anatomical snuff box. Whereas the medial boundary of the snuff box is contributed by the extensor pollicis longus, the tendon of extensor pollicis longus reaching the distal phalanx of the thumb. So this is about the boundaries. So boundaries is mainly contributed by two, that is the lateral and the medial. The lateral boundary formed by the two tendons, whereas medial boundary formed by the one long extensor pollicis longus tendon. Regarding the floor of this snuff box, the anatomical snuff box is seen to be resting on the two carpal bones which are the scaphoid and the trapezium. Yes, the scaphoid and the trapezium are the two carpal bones which make up the floor of the anatomical snuff box. So other than the scaphoid and trapezium, it is the lower end of the radius, that is the styloid process of the radius. The styloid process of the radius which also makes up the floor. The styloid process of the radius which also makes up the floor of the anatomical snuff box. So all these are the bones which take part in making up the floor of the anatomical snuff box. The roof of the snuff box is contributed by a very important vein, that is the cephalic vein. It is the cephalic vein which makes up the roof of the snuff box. Other than the cephalic vein comes the skin and the superficial fascia along with the nerve, that is the cutaneous branch of the radial nerve. So the roof of the snuff box is contributed by the cephalic vein mainly. The second is the nerve, that is the superficial branch or the cutaneous branch of the radial nerve. Other than that, the skin and the superficial fascia also contributes in making up the roof. So this is about the roof, the floor, the boundaries of the cephalic of the anatomical snuff box. This is the dissected picture where we can see the presence of the radial artery. Yes, the most important content of the anatomical snuff box is the radial artery over there. The radial artery makes up the important content of the anatomical snuff box. So here we can see the radial artery over here. Again, the dissected view showing the boundaries and the contents of the anatomical snuff box. As I have already told you, the lateral boundary formed by the abductor pollicis longus and the extensor pollicis brevis, the medial boundary which is contributed by the extensor pollicis longus. We can make out the radial artery making up the important content of this snuff box. So this is about the boundaries, the roof, the floor and the contents of the anatomical snuff box. Thank you.